Welcome back to Come Sis with Me, the podcast, a movement fueled by the heart of women with a desire to experience genuine community that uplifts, empowers, and strengthens one another on one common ground, sisterhood. I am your host, Mia, and happy Friday, sisters! I missed a Friday, so I'm really excited to be back on this Friday. And I don't know if you can tell, but I still have a little bit of that nasally sinus thing going on, but we're just going to roll through it because there's no way that I could just skip another Friday. It's just not possible. Plus, I brought a brand new microphone, so I'm really excited to use it today. I feel like this is genuine. I'm a real podcaster at this point. So, yeah. Excuse me, because I am going to probably cough. And I am going to sound like this for a little bit, at least until I can figure out what the heck is going on with my life. But I appreciate the community and the following that has not been lost in 1 week, because the reviews and the statistics say that most of you guys are gone. So I'm just going to pray that did not happen and the Lord just kept us all together. But it did give me a good topic to talk about today. Which is that of the power of vulnerability, and just realizing that I am human, that you guys are human, and that you really do need to see that side of people in order to feel like you have a space, that you belong. There's value in being vulnerable and allowing other people to level up and to use what they have too, and not just use what you have. So I'll give you an example. This past 2 weeks has been ridiculously hard, not just for me, but also for my husband. And we've had to deal with some family things, in addition to me having to deal with this health issue that I just, we just weren't expecting. And this is our summer break. I mean, obviously we're all in summer, but for us, summer coming home back to the States is supposed to be this relaxing kind of just enjoying this time that we have to enjoy being with family and friends and people that we don't get to see on a regular basis. And it just hasn't been that for us this season. And I don't know, maybe it's just where we are in life, but it just hasn't been that. So I didn't realize it, but last week when I had to put our little episode on hold, I mean, it really sent me in somewhat of a spiral, because I have this thing where I start stuff, I start projects, and I get really motivated and encouraged and just feel really empowered in doing the project. And then I hit a road bump. And a lot of times it's not just like one of those little speed bumps that they put in complexes. I mean, I hit a full-blown snow-driven pothole that completely derails my car's axle. And I have a hard time recovering from that. And I think the enemy knows that. So, when the episode last week had to be put on pause, I just went in a spiral. And then on top of that, my husband and I both had some family concerns that came up with parents. And I mean, we just really weren't prepared for what that was going to do to us mentally, spiritually, emotionally. and sometimes physically. And I got a message from a group of women who I do ministry with. If you don't know and I haven't shared already, I am a trained deliverance minister through Restoring the Foundations, an organization that has created a very structured yet Holy Spirit led uh, focus on ministry that helps walk freedom seekers into this promise of no longer being bound by the things that torment and leave them restless and sad and upset and just miserable in life. It's a wonderful ministry that I can, if you're interested in, please email me and I can share more information about that. I'll also put the information for Restoring the Foundations in the episode notes. So I do ministry with these women, and we haven't been meeting regularly because we've kind of taken a year off to just do life, get our lives together collectively and individually. And we had a recent, um, I guess, request for the team. So as we're preparing to walk out this next season of our lives, this situation comes up, and I decided that I was going to share that I needed prayer, that I didn't know what I needed prayer for. I just know that I needed prayer in this moment, and that these women, you know, being in this group with me where we walk out freedom with other women, I just thought it would be the most beneficial place for me to share in that moment. I also shared it with a couple other friends, but the purpose of this was saying that I haven't shared in this group in a while. Actually, none of us have. And so, me taking this step to be vulnerable in this group allowed these other women to use what they already have inside of them. Things that may or may not have been laying dormant for some time because we haven't been actively walking women through freedom. But I know that these women have on their own been doing things that kept them ready and willing and able for when that time has come. And so I'm I write in the group that I need two things. One, I just needed some kind of resources for some of the things that we were about to do. And then two, that I needed to be vulnerable about what I'm going through. And that in this season, I need some prayer for how I walk out, how I'm about to walk out this healing process that God is going to take me through or taking me through. Not, along with my husband. And the release that came from that vulnerability, from that me calling out, was exactly what I needed. One of my sisters called, and she just immediately, not really knowing what she had going on in the day, but I know that she had something happening in the morning. And instead of going right into her morning, she paused and she took a second and called me and prayed with me. And she said something in the prayer that really stood out to me. And I figured that if it stood out to me, that it would potentially stand out to someone else. So because of my vulnerability, because of my art, because of the wisdom to recognize that me holding on to this burden was going to weigh me down and that I needed to surrender it, allowed me to call out. And what happens when you call out? Like, you send out this bat signal, hey, distress, need help, help me, right? There's a release that is awaiting you when you call out. And I felt it immediately. As soon as she started praying, the tears just were flowing. And I was like, where are these tears coming from? I wasn't even I wasn't sad. I just felt like I was heavy. And sometimes when I'm going to say probably for most of us, what happens when you get heavy is it's easier to just isolate, and it's easier to sit in your stuff by yourself than it is to call out, because we lose, like, there's energy that's expended when you're carrying some heavy stuff, right? And the energy that's expended, I mean, physically weighs you down, emotionally wears you down, spiritually weighs you down. There's just this heaviness, and I felt the release immediately. And instead of sitting in isolation because I'm tired and I just really don't want to explain my situation to someone, um, instead of allowing that to be my truth and my reality in that moment, man, I'm grateful that I surrendered it in that moment, and that I recognized that I don't have to journey this alone. So, the first thing that I'm going to say about the power of vulnerability is that it forces you to release the things that are too heavy for you to carry alone. There are some of us who are walking through the perils of life and just have come to the conclusion that this is my portion and that I am forced to carry this all by myself, because no one else will understand. No one else will have the wisdom, the grace, the empathy, or even the integrity to carry this with me. And I'm going to tell you now that it's unfair, not just to you, but to other people, to assume that there is not a level of vulnerability that will call you to a greater place while also allowing someone else to step up to a greater place. So vulnerability is not just for you, or it's not just for them. It's for you. It's for you first. The other piece of vulnerability is it takes incredible strength and wisdom to never be alone in your struggle. And when you're vulnerable, it makes it so you don't have to be. Right? I shared this with several women, not because I thought that they were going to, I don't think I even had an expectation for what they would do. It's just them showing up and realizing that I don't have to be in this alone. I've been taking on a portion that's bigger than what I can actually chew. And when I shared it with the women who have said yes around me, I recognized that I didn't have to. I don't have to chew this alone. And the wisdom that came from me sharing it with them, like the things that they shared in response. It's going to be the gift that keeps giving to me. I don't even know if that sounds right, but it's going to keep giving me what I need throughout this process of healing. Ugh. Process of healing. That is just such a daunting, sometimes, reality for us. But it's a reality that we are continuously living and battling through life, in pursuits of being whole, healed, empowered women. And so I encourage you to be vulnerable in your pursuits today, in your pursuits of happiness, in your pursuits of healthiness, in your pursuits of healing and empowerment. Be vulnerable in those spaces with your sisters. Man, I can even say like in the healing, not just in the healing emotionally, but I mean physically. I didn't have it to give last week, guys, and I really wish I did because I hate feeling like like let someone down. But I didn't have it to give to you guys last week. And I mean, even now I struggled a little bit. I mean, I hate coughing and me sounding less than perfect, right? But I figured the vulnerability that I would come to this episode with today would showcase a level of healing that I still need and that maybe you need in the process too. But all in all, I wanted you to know that you're not alone, that you don't have to be alone in your struggles, that there is a solution to that isolation. There's a solution to that heaviness. There's a solution to that internal turmoil and silencing that sometimes takes place in situations, and that there is a release that is awaiting. The power of vulnerability gives you an opportunity to experience the release that is awaiting you. So I'm not going to just challenge you to be vulnerable, but I'm also going to challenge you to be a woman who someone can be vulnerable with. Maybe that should be another separate episode. Maybe it will. Should be a separate episode because that is a different side of the spectrum that I'm sure we all need a little bit of walking out in. But I'll tell you, my sister that called and prayed with me, my sisters who sent well wishes, my sisters that reminded me that even though they may not be available in that moment, that they are available spiritually and will be praying for me. My sister who sent me a message that was completely Holy Spirit led and on time, reminding me of some of the things that there's just some things that you are blessed and anointed to carry in your family units, in your friendships, in your relationships, in your life and work and ministry, that we sometimes feel are daunting, but it's really just a part of the anointing. And so there's a necessity to switch your perspective in that moment. Well, vulnerability opened up the space for her to share that wisdom with me. And I just challenge us to be women who other women can be vulnerable with. So I'm sorry about my sucky voice and my nasally, sinusy sounding, space here, but I'm being vulnerable. And I love that I have this space. I love that you have this space. And I pray that you will do that and be that for other women. Yeah. All right. So again, thank you guys for being with me this Friday. Guys, I need 5-star reviews. I need comments on how much you like listening to me on any platform. Apple, Spotify, Amazon, wherever you listen to this podcast. New listeners search for those things. And in order to grow our community, we need those ratings and reviews. They are critical. So please give me a 5-star review. Please comment how much you like listening to me. And yeah, that's it for this Friday. Catch you next week. Same place, same time. Prayerfully. And if you don't already know, you've got this, sis. Love you guys. Have a good rest of your day and weekend and week.